Hey, I'm Jeff Reber over at ERA Heavener Realty, and today we're going to talk about how to sell your house in 2021, and specifically 2021 because today as a homeowner, when you're selling, you have more options than you ever had in years gone by. So first off, I just wanted to bring some clarity as to what options are available and how they differ. Second, I'm going to go through a generic marketing presentation, so I wanted to give some insight into how we operate as a real estate brokerage and what we do to market homes for sellers. And then third, I wanted to invite feedback. So I'd love to hear your questions, thoughts, concerns, your insights into what we're doing as far as a marketing plan goes on what's good, what's bad, and what's ugly. So we're going to open up the playbook and take a look at what we do for homeowners to get homes sold. Okay, so where do you go when you want to solve a problem in 2021? You start with Google usually, right? So if you enter the phrase how to sell your house or sell your home in 2021, here are the organic results that I came up with in August of this year. And the top 3 ads that you'll see, really it's the top 4 ads that you'll see, are all large, and in each case, with maybe one exception, publicly traded companies who want to buy your home. And obviously, if they're a big business and they want to buy your home, what do they want to do? They want to make a profit with it. So it can be easy to sell your house to one of these companies. Zillow is one of them. Opendoor is one of them. OfferPad is another. But you've got to keep in mind that their goal is to make money at the end of the day. So usually they come out of the gate swinging with a high offer. And then when they get down to the nitty gritty, the offer starts to lower, and then they break out the fact that they do have fees involved as well for you, the seller, that are typically more, and in some cases much more than what you would pay for a real estate brokerage commission. So that said, let's take a look at what we do as a real estate brokerage to market homes for sellers. Okay, so let's take a look at what the best path for getting the most money in the best possible time frame is for your home. And if I can click that button, there we go. The 3 P's of marketing. You may have heard this before. I think it applies well to selling real estate, and that's why I use it here. So product, price, and promotion. Product being the house, price being the price for the house, and then the promotion being the marketing that we as the real estate brokerage do. So on the first 2, really you as the homeowner are going to set the condition of the home. You're going to determine what repairs you do, what changes you make. We will advise and consult, but you're the final say. Same with the price. We advise, we consult, but it's your house, so you have the final say. So let's take a look at this. We suggest, especially if the house is older, now if it was built in the last few years, may not be necessary, but you never know what's hiding in the attic, in the sewer pipes, in the whatever the case may be, behind the walls, so to speak. So we like to do a pre-listing inspection and just see what's going on. And we have a special rate with the home inspector, so it makes it a little bit more affordable and accessible. And the idea being, we want to drum up any issues that may scare a buyer later on in the process that are easy fixes. So a lot of times I'll see ungrounded electrical outlets or some loose wiring in an attic that are very cheap fixes for an electrician, but may cause a buyer to hit panic mode later on in the process. So you go ahead and you take care of those things prior to getting to the point where a buyer is doing an inspection. The other thing that I suggest is, like you would with a car, you detail a car before you sell it. You do a deep clean to the house before you put it on the market. And again, we have businesses that we suggest for such a cleaning. One of the important things too, to really set up for photography, but also to give the full and complete experience to the buyer, is to do some staging. And whether that's, and we, again, have relationships here, but whether that's bringing in a stager to do consulting on how to handle your existing furniture, or fully staging the house, or even virtually staging, which we do a lot of in 2021, because then, the buyer has their mind made up on how they're going to use particular rooms before they physically come to the property. So we've really done all of the heavy lifting for giving them vision for the home before they even step foot in the door. Obviously, photography is important in 2021 because people are looking at the house online before they ever set foot in the property, and we want to set the stage well. And this is also a question that I get from sellers fairly often is, how quickly can you get my house on the market? And the answer is, as soon as we can get our photographer in the door, and he typically stays a few days booked out. And along with great photos comes a 3D home tour and a floor plan as well. So we've put together this marketing package that a buyer who's in California or in New York wanting to move to Jacksonville or the Northeast Florida area and is unable to immediately come to the house but wants to make an offer, they can get a comfort level for what it is. They can look at the floor plan, they can do the 3D walkthrough, we can see the photos, and we've had this happen, especially post-pandemic, that somebody from 1,000 miles away is making an offer on your house, and they're never going to step foot in the house until they actually own it. So that's why we do all of those things, is to really put together a compelling marketing plan for the property, and particularly for a buyer who's not able to set foot in the door. Showing time, as the name of the business indicates, is a group that we use for scheduling showings. But I mention it here in the marketing because they also put feedback in their app. Like they download and database all the feedback from agents who've seen the house so that you, the owner, can take a look at the feedback, and it keeps a calendar of events, whether it's showings, inspections, appraisals, so that you can keep up with what's going on in the house throughout the entire process. As far as the pricing goes for the home, again, the goal is to get you the most amount of money in the best possible time frame. And it seems as simple as, hey, let's look around down the street in the neighborhood to see what other homes have sold for. And historically, that's not the case. Especially right now, that's not the case because prices went up in many neighborhoods and areas last year, 15 to 20%. So that means that somebody that sold 4 months ago really would have sold for 5, 6, 7% more if they were selling today. And so you need to be able to gauge all of those things. And so we have reports that we use. One of them comes from Showing Time. It's called a target market analysis that gives us real-time data on where showings are occurring, at what price point, in what area, so we can get our arms around how to properly price your home. One of the other things that we use is what's called a supply or inventory analysis from our MLS, also often called absorption rate. And really this is showing us the relationship between supply and demand. How many people are buying versus how many homes are available. And based on studying that information for years and years and years, we get an idea for where our price is going to be today based on that historic data, and where are they heading in the next month, 2 months, 6 months, etc. So not to say that we aren't going to use neighborhood sales as a check for what your home is worth, but it's certainly more than that as well. And then as far as the promotion or marketing of the property goes, we take a look at, I guess the National Association of Realtors every year does this survey. And they ask buyers of properties, how did you find the house that you eventually purchased? And so we take a look at that kind of information and look at how are people really buying houses? Where are they first encountering them? How do they get into them? How do they make the decision on which house to buy? And so we do all of our research there, and then we start to put together a marketing plan. And first, it starts online. You saw that in the previous slide. About half of people say, hey, we found the house online first. And this is unrelated to how many people have a realtor. I think that number is like 89% of people or buyers rather have an agent when they go out to buy. This is just where did they first encounter the property. So we want to be online, and we want to be online well. And the 3 primary sites are Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com. So we spend extra energy, effort, and money ensuring that your home is at the top of their algorithm. And from there, it distributes or syndicates to hundreds, if not literally thousands, of other real estate websites these days to make sure that everybody sees it. And all of this will be with the aim of getting a push of activity the moment that your house hits the market. So we give it its own individual website so that we can go out to the likes of Facebook and Instagram and put together marketing campaigns that get eyeballs on the property and create a lot of interest up front when it's hitting the MLS. We also call neighbors around the house and say, hey, did you know that this is about to come on the market? Because what we know is between 15 and 20% of the time a buyer is purchasing in an area, they already know somebody that lives in that area. So we're going to call the neighbors and let them know. We're also going to call and text realtors that have sold in the community previously to give them a heads up. And then we're going to put sign in the yard. And you don't see a phone number on this sign because we noticed people stopped calling phone numbers in the last few years, or phone numbers on for sale signs, that is specifically. But what they will do is text for more information. So they text, to their smartphone, get the info about the property that they wanted. And then we, the real estate brokerage, get that phone number and we can text back or call back and say, hey, would you like to see it? And now we're having this conversation with somebody who likely wouldn't have called, but may be interested in your home. And again, all of that with the aim of getting an initial wave of activity that drives multiple offers and drives up the price of your house when it comes on the market. And if for some reason it doesn't work, because nobody's perfect, we've all got faults, businesses, people, nothing works perfectly in this world. So we have this commitment to service that essentially says, if we don't do what we say we're going to do, or we have a problem and we can't fix it, we'll give you the listing back. We'd rather you be happy than be forced to stick with us all the way through the sale of the home. So that is how we go about trying to maximize what you as an owner get when you sell your home. If you have any questions, thoughts, feedback, I would love to hear it. Jeff Reber over at ERA Heavener Realty. And my phone number is 904-405-1995, or you can shoot me an email, jeff@era.com. Talk to you soon.